pulled out an interesting comp, and there really hasn't been big tournaments since. So I definitely thought it'd be something good to look into. It might be something we see in upcoming T1 events. Realistically, I doubt it, because I feel like there's low faith in what Viper can do from a lot of the T1 scene from what I've experienced. But that being said, that doesn't mean it's bad. In fact, it might be something that some teams realize is good and push ahead of other teams. So kind of the goal of this is to get in and figure out why this works. And it is going to be dependent on the map. So I will say, first of all, that some things will change. Number one, they won't always play Raze with this comp. This is more of a bind specialty, and that is because just Raze, it's like, how do I say this? In some MOBAs, you pick heroes because of the side of the map you're on. They're just better on that side, and they will always win their lanes on that side. Raze is an agent that just wins this map by the nature of the way hookah works, short, even bathroom. Long is not great, but can still work. There's still nade angles and such, and boombot can still be used to clear the angle to set up to be able to force them to peek into you. But regardless, Raze is really good on this map. The key points to this comp, though, of course, is going to be the Viper. The Viper and the Omen combined are very annoying to deal with. This agent's flash, you could run a Phoenix, but honestly, I think Reyna is just going to be better with this comp with the nature of what you're trying to accomplish. And you do need some offensive intel gathering, but the issue with this comp is that, and we'll be getting into that, into the weaknesses, is that they really don't have a good answer to contact walk-ups, and people just walking into their setup getting too deep before the, like, because a lot of setups are contingent upon if you can get, if they get to the line and they pull a trigger and you're aware of it, you counter pull your triggers, crossfires, util, etc., and you delete them. The issue is that if you're able to get past that line with your opponent ready, knowing what's coming up, then you're pretty much done for. So, but yeah, spoiler alert, of course, this is old as hell at this point, so if you haven't watched it, it's kind of your fault. Mamba Mode will take this map, and overall, most of this series was like dominating fashion, but there was still some weaknesses, so. But yeah, so the first thing to do, first thing I should talk about is Viper Wall right here. Very standard Viper Wall, but I want to emphasize how big this Viper Wall can be and is for a lot of this series. Number one is these kind of pushes just become a lot stronger. You can isolate hookah, and you can, or U-Haul, and you can get all the way through to the point where this crosses off site. So the only real angles are like people maybe playing dock or up against U-Haul, not that great. And you can also, again, isolate this whole side. You can throw another Omen smoke here, and then all of a sudden you can go into site takes where you throw out a rain of flash like here, throw out a rain of flash here, and you can effectively clear this box, and then effectively clear this box, and go ahead and take one side of the site, and then from there you can go ahead and take out the rest. So yeah, they move in here. They look. I'm going for early pressure. I haven't watched this through and through. Like I said, I did watch this tournament. This was one of the series that I missed, but I really wanted to find the finals for this, but I just couldn't find the VOD. I'll look deeper for it. But they push in, and their goal again here was pretty straightforward. They wanted to do damage, immediately raise after that conflict TPs. They want to regroup, and their goal here is to go for A. Overhead, that's pretty straightforward to see given the setup of the triple at long. With the bomb over at A, they could obviously have changed that. Bomb could rotate, but the initial goal of the plan is definitely more towards wanting to, oh, he just, yep. But he doesn't, he does get the defuse. So like the tick rate is really slow on the molly. That is a one weakness to Viper, but so again, we're going to be seeing that Viper wall a lot. And honestly, this comp strength, in my opinion, is on T side. I think this is a T-sided comp because, again, if contact plays are so strong against this composition, going into the CT side is very difficult. I don't have arrow keys on my new keyboard, so I apologize. Some of this is going to go a little bit slower than previous ones. I'll have to figure out ways to get through it. Actually, I could just fucking look up in the manual real quick. I'll take like 2 seconds. But actually, I'll just look it up later. So same wall, A split, using bathrooms. So if it gets contact, at least one in bathroom. Didn't see the one to the right, tucked away. But this is something that our team has done in streams. on tournaments, and this is something that I haven't seen any T1s do. But basically, the goal of this is that if you can isolate this whole side of sight, so like smoke this off so it can't be, they can't look into it. Basically, you can just full truck clear U-Haul, wrap into CT, and at this juncture, you have two options, right? You can either turn back through heaven and just obliterate their A side, or you can go through CT in an unexpected timing and go ahead and just run through their B side setup pretty quickly, assuming that they're not ready for it. But critical never, oh, excuse me, that was never cleared because the drone got broken by the Killjoy. So very good play from the two over here in bathrooms. Just good fundamentals there. They do get the bomb plant though, but this is a very awkward position here for the attacker side. Even though they did buy into this, they're just completely surrounded, and this should be over pretty quickly. Yeah, he does. Nice try. I don't know how much I like the Spectre buy on like an independent note, ignoring the comp discussion. But at the end of the day, this comp is very effective at creating a Clown Fiesta. And that being said, if they got what they wanted, which was an agent playing like here, or here, or here, more committed, they could have just run him the fuck over and deleted him, because their goal was to just get in, use that wall, get kills, and execute. So some of that comes down to the 50-50. But now they're going to be in a full save here. We got some Deegs, pistols, light armor, some basics. So Viper in this comp, again, Viper in general, I think the best way to describe this comp is its goal is to create effective Clown Fiestas. And I don't just mean that and I do not mean that in a negative way. Clown Fiestas are a good thing if you can control them, and that's something that we did is really good at individually. And that's not something surprising. Zach. Chase gets CP2. Yeah, they should be able to just get in and take this now. 3v2, they have rifles, or SMGs more likely. Oh, I wish I could press tab. This is why we need demos. I could press tab right now. I could go through this so much faster. So they just TP and look for different play. They grabbed up, I assume, some of those rifles. They showed Zach, but Zach still only has his Deeg, and he's also full HP. So that's kind of a mistake if Critical sitting on a gun. That could have been given to Zach. Winsome gets Osias. That's pretty big, and now Zach goes down. Yeah, why is the guy with half HP, no armor? Whatever. So the Clown Fiesta, right? Especially on T side. Okay, so let's say that we get this wall down, right? We get up into bathroom. We Viper ult. We plant. We Viper smoke, and then we have just our Viper rat in this, while the rest of us play time. Two things can happen from that. One, our Viper could just straight up clutch and outplay every single player on the enemy team. It's completely possible, given the smokes, especially post-patch now, which is something that this review will be talking about towards the end. It makes a big difference. But regardless, even in current state as of this game being played, that ability to create this Clown Fiesta, dominate the Clown Fiesta by being in a better position, understanding the flow of it, and how to just handle it better, because this isn't Counter-Strike, this is Valorant, this is a completely new game. You can't throw smokes on smokes on smokes in Counter-Strike and expect to get as much done. However, in this game, when there's a character whose toolkit is a giant smoke, whose smokes fit inside smokes, and those smokes prevent vision, if you know the layout of the map very, very comfortably, and how to flow through where you've put your stuff and what angles are available as a result, you can shit on everyone around you. So there's that element to it, and that's the goal. So here, oh, very good play by Bergie. Gets the one for done. Retro gets in quick, gets the trade. So overall, very good defensive play here from Renegades. And again, I do think that this comp, for its most part, is more effective on T side. But that being said, right now it is it's not looking that way. It is worth noting Mama Mode overall wins this tournament, so it's like no matter how bad it looks at any point for them, the composition definitely proved itself throughout the Retro's just on one this round. The great reaction to that situation, and Critical just caught with his pants down. Zek as well, and now the economy is just shattered. Okay, so this next round, what are we at? 49 is not as important.
don't have a lot to really do so, do they? I mean, I guess they could explode the.
And being as frugal as they can right
Okay.
now, they are about to.
There we go, back into a full buy. All right, show me some good Clown Fiesta stuff. So
Yeah,
the other
most
thing about this
literally.
composition is, okay, so we can take a lot of space with the abilities we have,
It appears
especially on this map. Drone.
like
Oh, I
CP2
should
is
use a different
done
color.
playing around,
Let's
right?
clear, clear, clear.
Has tons of credit stacked up on the
Drone,
arcade side.
very
He's gonna
good at
take
pushing
a
in
few
to control
back-to-back
space.
rounds
Omen Flash,
around the
Truck
battlefield
Clear,
to
a lot of
CP2.
spaces, and Boombot.
The
So we have a lot of
institutional
ways to
style
gain
heavy
space.
evil. I
And once
guess
we've gained that
Boo
effective space, we
Killjoy
have
back
smokes to be able to set
towards
up
that
what
A
we want to
site.
do with that. Once we have those
Sprinkle
smokes,
set up on
we've
the
effectively
perimeter.
executed where we
Typically
want to
the
be. So
go-to. And if this Hunter Furies finds
critical
a
goes
lick,
for,
the
I
floodgates
believe
are
that was a
open.
drone tag
The
off the
levy
ult.
will
Could
be
have just been
ready.
a dry ult though. Dry ults are perfectly fine. And honestly, generally
Barely
better right now
behind
because they
Jerry,
catch
knocked
people more unexpected.
nearly
CP2 with the great right click as he walks into the smoke, but that's kind of the issue walking into the smoke like that.
like you said, already racking up one with the Blade Storm.
They don't throw any utility to see it. Winsome gets Osiris, and honestly, the counter ult pressure. Zach critical, huge kills though. If they can get, oh, Randy Savage, if he goes down here, this is definitely a big round for Wombo mode. And now Weeded does have that ultimate.
We did, but we did not able to wrap him up. Randy Savage next to no HP remaining, only 15.
Okay, like this, critical clears the flank. Make sure no one's lurked up that way. They can isolate at this point. Then most likely the attack is going to be coming from CT. Gets that kill.
Getting put out to dry from that recon bolt.
Yeah, just burning out.
Okay, now they know 100%. So now they should set up in a basic crossfire contact. Critical, yep, done. Checks as the bomb is about to be planted, and we are done. So, again, though, I want to emphasize that this comp has a good ability to get up and take space. Once we have taken space, well, what can we do with space? I should probably just do this. We can do a lot more with that. We can get in, we can smoke it off. We can nade the remaining spaces to follow up on the execute. We can flash as we're moving out. Again, we still have these smokes to be able to take key angles off the equation. And this has not even brought up that we do have shock darts. And we also have sonar to be able to see where they're set up. So there's a lot of execution potential in this and the ability to set up because there's the offensive intel gathering into smokes, which is controlling space. That space control can translate into denial of angles, which can translate into pushing where you need to go. The issue becomes with this composition is that there isn't as much staying power outside of Viper ult, is the way I kind of see it. So, we'll see though how this plays out in this series. Like I said, this is one that I didn't directly watch, but I do think it was the best of what was available. I really wish the finals was available on VODs, but both channels kind of screwed the pooch there. I spent 45 minutes to an hour looking for it, man. It's just straight gone. Either that or I'm brain lacking, to put it nicely. So we have a contact set up here. Long gets, Cubby gets contact, clear, done. It's just a very basic setup. Nothing exciting there. For newer players, angle here, sees this. Player here, on contact, swings out, fights with teammate. Very straightforward. Cleans it up, done. Okay, so we are on a eco. Don't believe this is an important eco. I hope not. If they win it, we'll just go back.
Peeking at you all, but this spike is counting down.
Do they win this? Okay, they might win this. Yeah, they might win this. Okay, we gotta watch this one. How do they win it? Need close angle. Drone. Clears. Okay. They haven't seen hell, though. That's worth noting. Which is where the Killjoy is right now. Clearing close truck. Ah. Yep. Boombot baits him out. Op to the dome. To the body. Done. Okay, truck flash comes out. Push back sight. Clear it together. Done. CP2 does get chase, but Chase has already gotten two. Zach gets another. That was a very good push. So, again, let's talk about Viper Wall. Viper Wall is actually really fucking good. And especially now that the buff has come out. Okay, so they stack and they explode through here. Well, what this Viper Wall does is that if they throw a smoke here, Heaven is no longer an angle. They can flash, they can clear this close angle. If this is dead, then they can either come back through this way, or as soon as the wall drops, they can clear out this guy, which is exactly what they do. Chase gets 2 in this area, right? Wall drops. This guy gets the pick, but that's fine because then the other guy comes up against the counter trade. So this wall, very effective, and there are plenty of characters or teams who try these kinds of setups. Even this wall even kind of fucks up the way the peak Heaven peeks in.
He'll drop down, finally able to find the pick. He's gonna go ahead and drop a smoke, look for more, peek into you all. But this spike is counting.
But yeah, I think Viper is, you could do this with other characters. So again, some of these ideas aren't even necessarily intrinsic or unique to Viper or these executes. But that doesn't mean that she isn't the best to do them, right? So again, that kind of Viper wall, you could execute a similar strategy with smokes.
That's what I was thinking. You know,
For instance, right, you could very easily, not very
wasn't
easily, but you could
expected. But
almond smoke here and here. There's going to be some gaps here, so it's not that great. Some comps could Phoenix wall push, but that's also more exposed. So like, no matter how you slice it, at the end of the day, that there is other ways to do what they just did on an eco or on any play. But how effective would those be in comparison to doing it if you were a Viper? Not nearly, and at least in this specific case. There are, like I said though, that doesn't mean it isn't possible. That doesn't mean it can't be done. It just means the Viper is right now, at least in what we've seen, the most effective at doing it. So we have yet to get to see one of these Clown Fiesta rounds that I talked about. The Clown Fiesta rounds are honestly what most likely. Yep, here's the same exact wall. They set it up. They've isolated this Killjoy and Helt. So I want you to look at the way this site looks right now. Generally speaking, most teams play 2 on A, because A is by far the easiest site to retake in comparison to B. Okay, so when you look at B, and I've said this in my previous analysis, choke point, just bleh, gross, right? Don't like that. We don't like retaking through that. All right, now this, yes, we have a choke point here. Yes, we have a choke point here. But the thing is it's a lot easier to wrap into here and start to get this flank space. So lurks are a lot more common on A. In fact, it's something you probably see a lot in your pugs, but you also seen a lot in top level play. The other thing is that these angles don't really offer a lot once we get out. This angle, however, does, because we can have this close space, we can clear close to U-Haul, and we can clear up against this truck, and this can be supported by this angle. Another thing about A site is once you come out this angle, you're not really able to help each other. There's a giant box in the center of the site that pretty much blocks LOS from being able to do that, so not as fun to retake, okay? So generally speaking, most teams approach it as 3-2. Well, with this Viper wall, if we cut it like this and they play one here, then we're always going to be able to get 2 one-on-ones or 2 isolated kills. And it's just a matter of time when it happens. They made this read, and this is just disgusting. And I imagine, before I have not watched this VOD yet, I imagine this round is just going to be an absolute... Okay, Osiris, you just int. Never mind. What? What? Oh, the individual mistakes are painful, man. Oh, you hate to see it. You hate to see it. The choke. Like, why don't they push that? They just run. They're like, oh, Raze. Oh, no. I don't know, man. They could have caught her pants out. Like, I don't know. I think they were just scared.
That's going to be on the second attempt there for engagements. It's going to go back.
I mean, they don't know that there isn't anyone heaven. They don't know that it's not 3 on site, but they also got the read from previous rounds that there was... I don't know, man. It's like literally the only one who's rotated over has been the Opper. I'd have to go back through the VODs and VOD and double check, but I'm 100. I'm pretty sure from what I saw that that was a major blunder. Just from the respect of like that was an advantaged position, but also from the respect of it was the correct play in the correct situation with the correct timing. So like everything was going correctly for them, and now I wouldn't be surprised out of stubbornness because of the effectiveness of the execute, they go for the same exact thing. Winsome gets into an early tuck position. They do get the trade, which means they're going to get the rifle. Bergie barely makes it. But again, this execute's really strong. They get out onto site. Here comes the Viper ult.
After all of that firepower coming through, finally the plant goes down.
Critical gets the kill on Bergie. He peaks heaven.
To get as much information as they can with limited visibility here. It's going to be keyed for that Viper not to be the first one out. Getting a little aggressive and just enough there. Sensing that player right through and taking the Rays out. So now on a 3-on-3 attempt. Time ticking away. Not much to go on. Let's see if they make the push right here. That's going to be Viper right on the edge. And knocking Retro right out as soon as he enters Viper's pit. Critical ending that round with 3 kills of his own. Finally, we have Mamba still backing out of that area after all of that firepower coming through. Finally, the plant goes down. Bolt coming in there, at least trying to get as much information as they can. With limited visibility here, it's going to be keyed for that Viper not to be the first one out. Getting a little aggressive and just enough there. Sensing that player right through and taking the Rays out. So now on a 3-on-3 attempt. Time ticking away. Not much to go on. Let's see if they make the push right here. That's going to be Viper right on the edge. And knocking Retro right out as soon as he enters Viper's pit. Critical ending that round with 3 kills of his own. Finally, we have Mamba getting another round. So it's been back and forth here among the last 5, but I think that's that's just enough that for Mamba right now, at least to try and fight back into this.
Yeah, I said they needed to win 2 out of the 3, and with only 2 guns purchased, a sprinkling utility, and some pistols, they get one of them. That boasts very well for the future. They win this, Renegades will have a very scrappy, little to no buy in the last round of the half. But look at CP2. Oh, he wants some. Into the snake bite. Takes some damage and escapes. Keeps some shields. Doesn't really lose too much health. Whoo, that seemed close. And this operator has been the difference. Difference maker, I'd say, at times. But Mamba Mode, they hang on. They finally have a strong safe default to begin the round. They're able to get orbs. This is a better start than what we've seen in most.
And everyone, for the most part, trying to make their way through the middle. And what a great setup for Renegades here.
Yeah, it's very much worth noting they've thrown 2 rounds.
Back and forth. Finally, we have our first frag round.
And I apologize if my mic was muted there.
Really
I
nice there with that operator
bumped it.
to start off.
And
it's going to be tough
okay.
now for
So they
Mamba
do end up going to B during
come
this play.
forward. They did lose the Reyna in that
Yep,
middle
there it is.
first push. So here comes the attempt here again.
One did make it out,
Back and forth with the
but
trade-offs
again, the turret,
in
the
each
crossfire,
favor, so
strong
still
angle
Renegades to
position.
hold it down. The turret going to be
Critical
in a
just
great
gets in.
spot to throw
I mean,
off
if he
the
can kill
concentration,
Bergie or
somehow able to get the flick back
they can still
and
win this.
shut
He
down
just
the
has to
jet
get a critical
in the
kill
process.
here.
This is gonna
Staying
be a
alive.
remaining 20 seconds, no time to go
Who
back.
could
Needs
jump
to
out?
find a
We
still.
did.
We did
Oh,
first.
we did.
But the second time for the reload. 18 seconds.
There's
wins
no
some
way.
scraping, but we
Just
did
the
as
individual
other
talent right there.
plans.
Absolutely
Yes,
great
sir.
angle.
Wow, the
Angle
sweet
management.
spot
Also
with the
kind of
utility. The
poor
poison
decision
cloud
making from the
lasting
CT
forever.
side. Like,
The up and down
there's no one there to
movement.
back
He
up the
just did it
Sova
all
on that
by
jump out peak,
himself.
right? So, like, why is he
They were
there?
able to get
I don't know if I
2
necessarily
of
like
the
that.
3 I said were mandatory. And as I mentioned, look at the Renegades buy. It'll be operatorless.
I'm pretty sure I had
Very
my mic muted there for a
lackluster in
bit,
the
guys. I'm
grand
sorry. I
scheme
should
of
keep
things.
this open
And if Mamba Mode can
so
squeak
I
out a
know.
5th, that is
Okay.
really well done.
All right, one more round to go.
Finally getting back-to-back rounds here, and this is exactly what I was expecting. What I
So
suspected
far,
the
not
Viper
really
gonna try and
proving the
pull off
point
here. Chase
that I
already
wanted to
dropping
see
down.
on T side. But this is then in that
Just
case
already
not
looks like we're
exactly the
getting
best
one
VOD
of the
to be
kills to
choosing
start
for
off, and
T
already
side.
healing
Critical
back up
goes down to the
from
dry
that
ult from
engagement.
spawn,
So
perfectly
a
fine. Those
great
dry ults are
opportunity for
really
them
good.
to try to entry frag there, at least with that confidence.
Okay.
Andy. Shock bolts in hand, trying to deny. Spike going down. There's one. Is he
Same
gonna full
wall.
commit? He
Get into
will,
sight.
and
Just
get
maintaining
away.
U-Haul control.
Zek is lucky. Still has
No
a dart
ults.
cover to
They're on a
use,
bad buy,
as well
so
as the
there's no need for
paranoia.
us to
Things
do
could
what
get
we...
a little blinding here in a moment, Trooper.
Okay.
Yeah, and there's not much room here.
Does he have it on the truck? I'm pretty sure he has it on the
These
truck.
teams are compacted right in this little cubby, so last pack, barely missing from the line of sight. Getting one. Are they going to check the corner? They do.
Zek
But
gets
they
one.
do
Okay.
get taken out, at least for the time
There's an...
being.
Oh,
In the
and
corner,
that's
they
game.
get thrown
Okay.
off from the
So,
smoke and back and forth they
I want to look at... what's going on there with the Viper wall, or at least show you guys what it looks like in game. Because I feel like that's important. Bind, cheats on, yes. Okay. At least to help give an explanation of it. Okay.
No one can hold their breath forever.
They didn't use any of the B stuff. It's actually kind of surprising. Because Luminosity, they used a lot more B executes too. Like, B is a lot stronger because there's some really dumb shit you can do. Which we're not going to get to see in the series. And I'm going to be ending the
Let's
review
move through
after
them.
this map
Like
anyways.
smoke
So,
salons.
God. Embarrassing. Actually embarrassing.
Use my poison to your advantage. I don't
I've run custom games before.
My ultimate is
Smile.
ready.
Okay. Give me that ghost. Okay. So, one thing that they did a lot, and I've seen this both in scrims, but it doesn't really matter now because they've done it in public and they've done it in tournament settings. So, thing is I think it's right here. I think this is off. I might have done it wrong. No, I think this is right. Something like this. Okay, so what we do is we do something like this, and then what we do is we sit inside this. Right, and then what we can do is once they go for bomb plant, defuse, we can do shit like that. And because we know how the angles work, this isn't his exact spot, I think it's more like right here. But because we understand how these angles work, right, we can abuse that. So this isn't the exact setup that we did does, but the general idea is there. So let me grab this real quick. Okay, so kind of got an idea of what we're trying to accomplish with, on B. But again, that's just like one of the Clown Fiestas that they did do in other series. So let me get the lineup for this. It should be something like this, right?
My ultimate is ready.
Goes through like heaven like that.
Toxins going up. Toxin screen down.
Okay, I'd have to restart the round, but it'll work for now. Okay, it'll work for explanation. Okay, so multiple ways to work with this wall, right? So again, number one, the first one we saw is that when we come out of bathroom, right, all we have to do is clear this. We can flash then, clear this, dead, and even if they peek out this, now this is slightly off from the one we did, but there's going to be a slightly bigger box right here blocking this, and as a result, this guy is going to have to commit a lot harder to be able to fully see these angles and fight this, right? So that guy's going to have a rough time. So that's one execute that we can just do off of this wall, right? Literally, because of this wall, this execute is perfectly fine to do, that we can just come in, clear this shit, and then we can drop this, and we can fight for back of sight if we want to. Off of that, we can flash out of it, etc. The other thing that we can do is exactly what we saw in the last round, right? Which is that we can just take control like this. We can have our opera post up here. We can throw a smoke. I believe his smoke is like right here.
Toxin screen down. Poison orb emitting.
Yep, truck smoke block heaven. I
Poison's
need
off.
to get my energy back. Hold on, to get this at the same time, because that's what he does when they execute.
Poison ore
going up.
Yep.
remaining.
See, Heaven can't see shit now, so we fight into U-Haul. Right. And then now we have U-Haul control. We plant
Poison
default.
down.
Bada bing,
Here.
bada boom. And we now have a post-plant situation. And if we wanted to, I believe the easy way to do it would be like this.
Don't get in my
Because
way.
that should put this back wall right here. I looked down too much. I should have looked forward more. So yeah, he looks forward more. It looks this way more. I can just end the ult. And get the exact ult. Yeah, that's just one example. Again, they do stuff on B. We didn't get to really see that as much. Kind of showed you what the ult and the smoke cloud would look like.
Toxins going up.
Alright.
My ultimate is ready.
So we plant default, so it'd probably be
Don't
more like
get in
this.
my way.
Yep, this is exactly what it was. This is exactly what it was. So, there we go. That's his exact ult. So really straightforward, right? And this is something you could easily do in ranked games. This is something you as a T1 or T2, T3 team, like this is very easy to copy and add to your playbook. And I think something about this setup is that it is not really dependent on other agents. You could really just do this with Viper. So if Viper fits into comps, then this kind of execute, this kind of setup fits into those comps as a result. It's not really, I don't think, difficult to fit that in and get that set up. And again, her post-plant potential is fucking insane. So again, so what we saw from T-side, right? Post-plant potential, insane. Early round potential, insane. Why? Because we're able to cut sights and create angle control that we want. Number two, if we pick up another smoker on top of that, right, we can smoke off Heaven
Here,
and angles that we're not really able to with our Viper, even though we do have that truck smoke there.
Poison's
Not
up.
all these smokes are going to be reliable as an Omen, right? So we pick up the Omen, we're able to get these. And that's kind of what they're doing, is they're giving themselves really good early angle control. As a result of this really good early angle control, and this is something that we have, again, from, whoops, not what I wanted to do. Let's just do raise for this. Not so.
30 seconds left.
Let's make some chaos.
Other side of the equation, right, is we need to be able to get control to get advantage out of this angle control, right? So like throwing this Viper wall over here on A, that's fine and dandy, and that's great. But at the end of the day, it doesn't stop a guy from, again, peeking this. Aggressive, which they died to. It doesn't stop a guy from being aggressive at this angle and shitting on them right here, right? Or it doesn't stop a guy from going for an aggressive peek as they're coming up the smoke right here. It doesn't stop any of these aggressive angles that could potentially just shit on them if they're not ready for it. What does fix that? Sova and Raze, okay? So again, let's say that we wanted to take this, right, and we're confident that they're set up there, right? We could even just fucking nade that shit and kill this kid, right? He runs out dead. Teammate runs out dead, whatever it may be. We can boom bot to clear this shit. We can get up. We've cleared rugs, right? That's a terrible. You know, the funny thing is, I've seen this shit in tournaments, man. Seen this shit in tournaments. Okay. Anyways, clear this, right? Wall is blocking this all right now, right? Remember? So now we've walked in. We just clear here, done. We're in. So there's a lot of strength to raise comboed with this. Again, if we can get the space, we have already established angle control with the smokes that we're using because of Viper. Therefore, our execution should be straightforward if we get the initial thresholds checked, which those initial thresholds are just early position control to get to the angle control. That's all it is. So it's a very straightforward, very easy to do on T side. That's why I do think more on more of the maps and on more of the series, they end up getting a lot more T-sided rounds. However, when you look at the composition from, oh, I have to do it this way. When you look at the composition from a standpoint of CT side, I think it's a lot weaker. So let's get into that. Let's look into that. So again, strengths, quick strength, sum up. Number one, angle control, dominant. Number two, post plant, very good. Number three, ability to get into positions that they want to, very good. We have drone, bot, sonar. Okay, so we got what we need to get where we want to go to get done what we want to get done. Okay, so the question just becomes execution, cleanliness, strategy, and overall individual. Cleanliness kind of covers that individual play.
Wow.
Most of those ideas are
Put
going to
out
be
the
pretty much
challenge,
covered by
I put
that.
up a task, and they win
So here we
after
go.
2, 4, 6, 7 rounds. They win 5. 5. Quick math, man. That's the most math I've done in a long time, Trooper.
All right.
So that one hurt a little bit, but we get there.
Why
again.
is it weak
you do math
on
every
CT, in my
day if
opinion?
you're back
The
in
reason
town,
that it
you
is weak
better
on
run,
CT, in my
so.
opinion, again, is the lack of
Well,
Cypher
like
or
I said, I
Killjoy
didn't
in this
specify
composition. It's something I brought up
specifically,
during the viewing party because I
but
did a 2-day viewing party of this. I think
I
that's
would
worth it
say
to
when
mention.
you're crunching the numbers,
The thing
Mama
about this
Mode
is
has
if you
done
don't have
enough.
a Cypher of Killjoy, again,
Viper
there are
on the
these
defensive
lines, right?
side will be
CT setups
really
generally want
interesting
to
to
have
see
you walk
kind of
into a
full
certain
control
threshold,
and
and
what if
on
they're gonna be
that
able to put
trigger
together.
punish you, whether
I
it's
can't wait.
an arrow, whether
Up
it's a
here,
nade, whether it's a
so
smoke, whether it's a
in the
peak,
center portion of the
whatever it
map,
may be, they want to
let's
punish
try
you.
and cross
So in this case, right,
anybody making the rotation with the boombot setting the stage as they push through. Here come a couple nades.
doesn't
as
really
well.
matter too much on
No
pistol.
visibility yet through the
They do
cubby.
get the early information, early
Finally,
plant.
just barely getting Zek.
Zek comes out the
Because the
back,
Nav
gets that
win
pick
the
on
engagement
CB2, trying to
there.
wrap through U-Haul.
Start things off. And how fast?
Winsome
On to
goes for
second
the
half
same
here, we
angle.
see a push and a plant by Renegades.
Almost gets punished by Zek again. Oh man, imagine.
Ghost in hand.
Okay, so they have a full surround right now.
This is going to become messy quick. Try to follow along in the kill feed.
CT
First,
side,
gonna
going through
hit the
U-Haul.
first. Here
3,
comes
4.
the hero from last half.
Yeah.
Gonna be able to double up with his
Retro in the
classic.
bathroom
Randy
work, though.
Savage biding his time. Retro around the dark cover. In and out, in and out.
That was a
dancing
really
around,
good attempt
and
by
it's
Retro.
all on Randy Savage. The classic, the first, the second to be. No.
Yeah, he just never fought there. I don't really know if I like the way that was played out by the T side, but regardless, one thing that is clear about Mama Mode that I should be fair about is that the individual talent on this roster is very strong too, so that does help them in a lot of these situations. Like that situation, not an optimal one, and I think
This way more
Oh,
in their
um,
favor, but with the way
I didn't pause on this. So something else I should talk about in high number post plant situations, the way I see it right now, there are 3 fundamentals to win those situations pretty consistently. Number 1 is you need an aggressive movement to translate into a kill, right? Whether or not that's an aggressive peek, whether or not that's a flash peek, whatever it may be, it's some kind of aggression past the threshold of your control that you want to get an initial peak, pick, timing, something of that nature, okay? So second thing is we need forward control. If we have a forward control, so in the case of this map, right, if we have control of B site and we're planted here and it's a 5v5, there's no reason for us to just be set up here, here, and maybe like here. We should be getting somebody into a forward position here to be spamming this so that they have to take that guy. They have to spend nades on that guy. They have to spend utility. Whatever it may be, they have to spend energy to take out that player to be able to get into the position they want to actually be able to execute the retake the way they want to. Forward position, early pick, or the final option is the assuming that you have better guns or assuming that you are in a position in which the crossfires are strong enough to win it, you can stay on those. But in post-plant situations, those are always going to be the ways that you win, right? It's either an aggressive peek or some kind of control, space control. And they don't do that, so they get punished. Pretty straightforward.
This is getting flipped around really quick. I want to see what Renegades is going to be able to handle here. As they flip
And I mean, they
around.
had the opportunity to do the third option a bit,
I
but they
guess
kind of
maintain
hesitated and choked,
that
if you
level of
ask me.
posture.
Anyways, we're into it. Weeded's got a auto shotty and hookah.
Oh, all right, I see you,
The
Viper.
boombot is fired.
Yep, that's a free round.
Boombot is gonna have to be hanging it up, hang the wheels up.
Yeah, need to work out some kinks on
And
that.
this round
one,
is just over, boys.
barely. They setting up in the right corner there, didn't have the right angle to clear the full room, and gave them a false sense of confidence there. And just
I will be uploading this on my YouTube too,
easy.
so
Give Mamba mode again. Another
if you're
advantage.
interested in
Looks like
watching
this'll
this
be-
later,
they can
feel
hold it.
free to
It would be 5 rounds
check
in
it
a
out on my
row, maybe
YouTube.
6 at this point. So
And also give it a like and subscribe.
completely
Smile.
flipping the script here, but don't speak yet.
Zach.
Because
Okay.
Zach is able
So this is something that I talked
hold
about
the position,
on the
flip
live
developer, and
broadcast
one spray,
at this point, like
count
3 weeks
2
ago.
players of Renegades, and leaves
Zach,
the to just run
I should
go
just
through
kind of go
space.
back to talk about this.
Yeah, this is getting flipped.
Zach's
Developer
individual
and
talent
one
with
spray
timing
It's nearly.
is something even a lot
They
of
can hold it.
T1 teams
It will be
lack.
5 rounds in a row, maybe
'Kay.
6.
So if we look at the situation from the Mama Mode perspective, right now, no information, no information, no information. Well, what did just happen is there was some utility being used. Arrow gets thrown out. And what happens is he just takes a risk.
Completely
All right, off the arrow.
Don't speak yet.
Okay. And the way that this is safe is for a couple of reasons. Number one, he saw the arrow go flying past him. So he knows that they're more concerned about looking at deep sight, and they've kind of already cleared this because they were walking up clearing this, and as they get into pocket to set up that play to clear that and fall off, that's when he peeks up. So just excellent timing and understanding of the situation. Number two is that he doesn't have the fear of what does this go wrong. Well, if it goes wrong, I probably lose the round. They get the kill on that. They have U-Haul control. Osiris is all of a sudden isolated, and it can very much end quickly. But the thing is that if I hit this timing, I'm confident in myself, and I know that if I do this, I win the round. Why should I be afraid to do that? Fear is only going to prevent me from getting that timing. So Zach didn't have any fear. He doesn't have fear when he goes for these timings, and he does this consistently throughout the event. Like he saves rounds that should not be savable because he just puts himself in a position that is unexpected because he has the confidence to say there's no way I'm going to lose this. There's just no way that I'm going to lose this. And I really respect that, and I don't think that is something you can teach. I think at a certain point players need to realize that to make it to the top, you have to not be afraid to lose. And as a result of that, you can make bigger plays. If I'm not afraid to make a mistake and miss that timing, then all of a sudden I can hit that timing. I can have that movement that's necessary to take care of it so that I don't miss it because I'm hesitant. So not to harp on that any longer. Very good round here. Now we're going to actually get into the beginning of the CT side for or T side for Renegades, and where again I will look at some of the points where they could have or should have punished this.
We're fine. So yeah, we get to be able to see Zeke. I keep saying Zeke. Zach. I don't know why I want to call him Zeke.
Okay.
I'm just addicted. I have a friend named Zeke. That's probably why. So Zach. We did leading the
We
charge
got
for Mamba mode.
Triple A.
This goes a while ago. Two players just leading the way.
They really rely on we did on B side.
And favorite number.
That's already going to be pretty clear to me from what I've seen.
With the way that things started off, we are really setting up here for a game. Mamba mode
Boombot is really good. They know they have one left. Critical's trying to peek aggressively, but he loses a lot of HP as a result. That second blast back choke, that's just really unfortunate.
Very unfortunate, as might have been able to kill that Viper in the corner, but now knowing that they're there, has to come.
Oh, Winsome is just playing this so well. Meanwhile, his entire team just wrapped around. Okay.
But they're able to finally flush them out. Yeah, I mean, you put someone just addicted. I have a friend named Zeke. That's probably why. So.
Okay. So what happens here? Great playing to stay alive. Like, I can't emphasize enough how many players in Winsome's position in the T2 scene, at the top of the goddamn T2 scene, whatever you want to say, top 3-4 teams, doesn't matter. They will just fucking go in on this shit. Like, fuck, what the fuck are you doing? Okay? You have 3 players. Their goal, get up, get position, and fucking destroy these nerds. What happens if you stay alive and rat? They die for free, and you stay alive. So this patience from Winsome. Because what I want you to watch is now this minimap, right? Drone clears up. They're up in. Drone comes back around, tags weeded. They're like, ah, fuck. They're up long. Yeah, we need rotates. Yeah, I don't see anything A side. Yeah, this is bad. And done. Just done. Absolutely beautiful play from Renegades in terms of executing on that hookah. And again, relying on one player's contact to stay alive for that information to create opportunity that can then be translated into new opportunity, right? So Rays stay alive means Long can push up, creates opportunity for Long to kill hookah, creates opportunity to freely take B, round over. All because of one player getting information and one player playing patiently. So again, emphasis, great play from Winsome. Overall, excellent execution. Overall, kind of sloppy from Mamba Mode given the fact that they kind of should have been aware of that situation. Why is this Rays just doing that? He's keeping our attention. They know that information. Because, like, it's a tactical shooter, right? Even in most shooters, why would that Rays be playing that way to stay alive? Right? Is she just really that desperate to get a kill? Is she really just sitting there? Like, you can read into that stuff, especially as the skill goes up, because that isn't logical from the Rays unless there is a play coming up your ass and about to kill you. So.
The spike on the ground for the easy rotation, at least for the
Yo, what's up, Alex?
leads the way. Aldro
Okay, so
says
early
hello.
ult, Viper ult, lock down B, forces
up?
him to A.
Seems
They
to be
play
just like
triple A
Chinese.
start again.
Been spotted. Viper's
We did on the
defensive
rat
squad
angles
will
again.
sit and
This is
wait
just knowledge from playing this all the time.
and
Has
allow
somebody
them
else
to
clear it?
slowly clear. Go back
Oof.
in. The red highlight shows. Head taken off.
Oof.
Winsome. Critical's got his help, and
Win
they're
some
on
with the late
lockdown, though.
reaction, man.
Their hands will be tied shortly. They got to get away from this. Or maybe we did hides in his.
Okay, so I do like what they tried there when they used the drone to come in, right? So drone comes in, I believe it was from, yeah, drone comes in from long, right? And scouts out this way. Just kind of caught the man sleeping, dude. But
got destroyed.
that was a
A
really good
second
attempt to get into
spare.
it. We did is just
Lockdown
too good
gets
into
shut
this
down.
rat
Randy
position.
Savage alone
Yeah.
now. Stuck in Cub.
I don't know why you would
He
fight
can't
into that. I
take
feel like
another
the,
arrow.
the,
I
the trick
can't
is
believe
what they
Aldro
should have done is
missed.
done the drone, got the
I can't believe
contact,
that
and then just
was
fallen
less
off.
than a second, and it got
Because then they
picked
can
and
just go
shot.
back A.
Unreal from We Did.
Like, you should never use your Viper ult at the beginning of the round. Well, at least maybe not never, but it's like, why would you if you could react to the opponent's play? Well, if your setup by default is good enough to handle non-ult executes or just in general executes, then why would you want to early commit the ult when you could save it to be able to put yourself in a position to win the round? Right? Obviously, Mama Mode wins the round, so it is a kind of a null point, but it's not like it was their choice. They kind of got given a win there. All right. So we have triple A again. This Viper wall. This Viper wall is really annoying to deal with when you're executing onto site. They hard read into this eco push. Don't think that's a bad call. I mean, it is eco. And this is something else that I think is really important to talk about. If they've actually just faked this and had one here and like 3 or 4 here, like who gives a fuck, right? Because the thing is how do we as Mama Mode lose this round? Well, we lose it because we give a rifle to these players. So even though this player is pretty far pushed up, he has a teammate ready to back him up, and that's perfectly fine. I don't see any reason to keep a 3-2, and I don't see a reason to even keep anything more than a 1 in the back, ready to handle 4, to make sure that we have the concentration. Because now this player can back up this player, which can prevent that rifle from getting gotten, and at that point it makes it much more difficult for the T side to get it. So again, priority being to setting up positions that allow each other to not die is super important in anti-ecos. So very good job by Mama Mode.
Alrighty.
Very good reaction and rotation to the situation, and that's what I like to see. But again, weakness just hasn't been seen yet. It's like, I had this issue with Renegades, I had this issue with Luminosity, I had this issue with every single team who played against them. It's like, no discipline against this composition results in exactly what they want you to do. They're playing a composition of cheese comp that kind of forces you to play very sloppy Valorant just because of how annoying it is. Amount of smokes, flash, control, it's annoying. But if you just play confident and take your space, you will shit on these kids because they have no way to actively hold or actively acquire information, or sorry, passively acquire information while being in a good setup. So they either have to hold the setup assuming that they're going to walk into it a specific way, or they have to actively get the information and then rely on that information for the entirety of the round until next contact. Right, so there's a lot of flaws that can be exploited from mid-round calling that allow you to just get in and take care of it. So again, like this setup right now. This guy has nothing immediately backing him up if we get this kind of, standard smoke off, this kind of flash off like Reyna, right? We could just get in. We can also nade back sight, prevent this peak. We can truck flash sight, right? There's a lot of choices that we can do to just prevent this, and yeah. We should be able to just isolate the Silver over here to the left. We choose to isolate the person on site, that's fine.
They have no idea. They may even think or elect to assume the site's clear, and they will. They're expecting it's empty.
Clown fiestas, man. So again, why would the Viper have the smoke on top of site if he's not going to be inside of site? Obviously, hindsight 2020, but still. And now they're going to lose this round. So I really think in these kind of cases too, when you have this level of isolation on elbow, like just take it, but they smoke it.
The fourth is not quite there, but it's Bergie alone.
Bergie's dead.
He is gone. Weeded is dancing and hiding and weaving like a true.
He's a rat. Oh, yep. That's fine. That was an eco? No.
I mean, they're looking good to do so, aren't they?
Used to use it, or at least in one of these last
That's right, that was the right round.
moves right there. And that's what you have to do, putting yourself in the scenario in your opponent's head
Okay.
and just thinking that, you know, with
So this was the
living
eco.
critical enough for them to try and clean up
Here we go.
right here. It's just almost
All right, same early wall, same setup. Although, oh,
Same,
defensive
Mambo
A
mode.
setup,
Fully in
interesting.
control here,
They have been going B heavy though, I guess is the read, right?
trying
We've
to cross
seen
the map
round and a
quickly.
Viper ult,
Just
we've seen
timing
around before. We
just in
skipped
time
around,
to
so
get that teleporter. Now,
ooh, critical
getting that first kill
on the
to
pixel
set
angle.
things off. Renegade's already at a disadvantage.
Yeah, this is gonna become troublesome real quick. Critical has the recon bolt. He'll use this either when smoked off or to set up We Did. So keep an eye on that. There you go. Gonna go ahead and drop Poison Cloud, Toxic Screen, same play.
Yep.
Is he gonna get spammed this time? Will he be given room? Toxic Screen makes
Like
it
this
so
is
you
what I
can't
mean.
see
Like
when he jump out
look
of
at this
Luca.
rat.
We did with 2, the third, yes,
Look at this
sirree.
rat and this timing. Like again, I'm not saying this comp is bad, and I am not saying We Did is bad. What I am saying is that this is not a result of effective strategy as much as it's a result of individual movement that is straight outclassing a lot of the teams that playing against. So like they know they're coming out. This Viper wall is annoying as hell, and this is the result. It's a very good job there.
Continue to deliver on this
So
fight, Trooper, my man, he is playing lights out.
All 5 remaining after that round.
get into the last round
Call it
here.
Mamba number 5 if you want. Whatever you want to do. They pulled it off. They made it work.
And now he's
Now
gonna go
it's
for the
match
ult.
point, game point, everything point right here.
This is just
because Renegades
so again,
starting off as strong as they did.
wrapping up here as we're getting into the last round. Strengths of this comp is it's a clown fiesta, like in a positive way for them, where it is very annoying to play against this comp. It's very confusing. There's a lot of knowledge requirements that you just aren't going to have because you're not playing Viper. Number 2, very good at executes. Number 3, very good at angle control. What does it lack? It lacks durability in terms of holding pushes, in terms of identifying enemy position consistently throughout the round. What would this comp be best against? Teams who love to W key. What do most T2 teams do? Love to W key. What do most better teams, T1 teams, start to do? A lot more aggressive executes and defaults. Sorry, a lot more aggressive defaults that result in multiple potential executes that can either be contact or hard executes. What results in that? This comp would get absolutely destroyed on CT side. So it would really need to be effective on T side. That being said, I think this comp is very strong on T side. And as a result, right, it could very much take maps off of T1 teams. But it'll be interesting to see because in the most recent event that we played Mamba mode in, they were not playing with We Did. We Did is currently looking for a different roster. So it begs the question of where he's going. It begs the question of if other teams are going to be playing this comp. It begs the question of if other teams could even run this comp. But before we get into ending the stream, I'll go ahead and show you guys the
30 seconds left.
B-side stuff so you can emulate that in your ranked games or in scrims or whatever you guys would want to do. So, first things first, I think it is just like this. This should just be like this.
Toxins going up.
Perfect. Okay.
Toxin screen down.
So,
Poison orb emitted.
this is annoying because you're going to be able to dodge any scan. A lot of teams like to throw darts there, there potentially, sometimes into octagon.
Going up.
But this is obviously going to protect you from that. Okay, number 2 is, again, these timings, right? So they're out hookah.
Toxin screen down.
They're out hookah. One dead, second dead, you know, whatever it may be. But he keeps this up.
Poison's off.
And the reason being is that, I mean, you guys saw it in the X-ray, right? Is it's pretty straightforward. Once these players should be out, I can peek. But that is the issue of the composition in its core. Should. They have to have physical confirmation of another player seeing them, or they have to use a timing on an arrow. Now, one thing that they could do is they could go for the Sinatra-style arrow on retake here, and they could just post up their guy back here, and off of the
Here.
smoke coming through, you
Here.
could throw an arrow up there, and then all of a
Toxins
sudden
going
these
up.
could accomplish pretty much the exact same thing because this arrow up there is going to be able
Here.
to see anyone that they need to. But again, same angles can be taken. Same angles can be taken. So, very strong.
Toxin screen
And then the
down.
other thing about this ult, I think, should be right about here
Don't
is the way
get
to
in
do
my
it.
way.
Yeah. Very annoying to deal with these kinds of ults. You can't get into hookah. I guess you could get out long.
Toxins going up.
I don't know if this is exactly how he does it on B. I think I messed it up slightly.
Toxin screen
Yeah.
down.
Because, like, the other thing he likes to do is be able to play on
Poison's
top
off.
of this with that ult. So I think it's a little bit more down instead of forward. I think that's what's happening.
My ultimate is ready.
Thank you.
Don't get in
More
my
like that.
way.
I don't know if that's better. No, that's not. That's not better at all. I'd have to fucking sit around for a little while and figure out how to exactly do it, but that's, for the most part, the goal of this. And again, those are kind of the main points of it. Again, and I appreciate everyone for coming in. So thank you guys for watching. I'm going to be going ahead and uploading this to YouTube. And I'll be doing more analysis like this. I want to start doing this more regularly, get stuff out to you guys, and yeah, start getting more info out. At the end of the month, there is going to be the Riot event, the qualifier, and
My
on
ultimate is
days
ready.
that my team is not playing in or whatever it may be, I'm definitely going to be doing some analysis of it. So, but otherwise, guys, thank you again.